Learning doesn't have to be passive. It can be action-packed, energizing, and unforgettable. That's why we created Talmon's Free Learning Saturdays, a space where HR and talent development professionals experience hands-on, gamified, and action-based learning at no cost. Let's see what happens in these events.
So about today's session, this was actually, I was waiting for this session, and because the first session was very successful, I have participated. I got enough opportunity to put my thoughts there in the first session, and that was a good warm-up exercise for something big happening. And today, with improving my vocabulary on HR things and the technical idea about the making strategies, and that small conversational action-based kind of thing where I was friendfully compelled to think how would I take that challenge as an HR if some international assignment of horizontally deploying the things are going on. So that was really good, and I have gone through all the main success point for that challenge, and the tool what you presented had given me where I am actually thinking. So I found, yes, there are scope of improvement for making the realistic goal for any HR activity. So that tool was helpful, and I would like to see more of such tools, videos, and deep conversation having new terminologies. So thank you, Pooja, for today's session as well, and I'm really waiting for the next announcement, and also would like to see all other participants together.
Do you have any idea what we are going to cover today?
What are the different parameters we check for the HR related system?
So first, I want to understand what you already know about HR and if you are familiar with these terms. So as a group, we will just discuss about those terms and see where we stand. And after that, we can have more discussions. We can have breakout rooms and do some networking and some activities to find out what all is possible. So what do HR people actually do? A few terms that are very consistently used by HR professionals. So are you aware of any of these terms?
On the screen, I could see many technical terms related to HR field, and I can relate this to one piece of information which I had before joining this session, that in late 80s, 70s, it was not the HR department, it was called as personnel department, and there was a simple one strategy like hire and fire. And after that, the people have started scientifically discussing the importance of many other parameters other than hire and fire, or between them, engagement, employee engagement. People are happier than before. I could see recruitment, yield, employee orientation, workforce planning, skill metrics. So it's a vast field.
It was an experiment done by behaviorists. So what they did initially, there used to be a mechanic model of factories where people would just work and you pay them for whatever amount of time they're working, and people were counted just as the resources who were involved at work. Once what happened, they did an experiment in a factory where they were just trying to figure out if the lighting was affecting the people. Researchers moving all around. Sometimes they were playing with the light, they were dimming the light, sometimes they were increasing. And then they realized suddenly the productivity of the people who were working there increased. The reason why this change in productivity happened was because those people started to feel like something has been done for us. We are getting noticed, we got attention. that's when the idea of behaviorism in work came, and they started talking about people not as just resources but as their capital.
Yes, even the I remember the Larsen & Toubro, one of the largest multinational Indian company. They call their people as an asset. I could very well, relate this behavioral experiment what you said with one of my own incident when I was in my childhood. I was riding a bicycle with my friend away from home, and suddenly it became cloudy, and I started feeling very scared. So yes, of course, the illumination level affects. Many people feel scared when it is dark. So this is addition of somehow the occupational health and safety which comes in the HR model, the high performance work systems. Yes.
Okay. High performance work systems are the HR practices that maximize employee performance. For example, if we give them bonuses, so to get those bonuses in many companies, if you are performing better, then only you get bonuses. So you perform better so that you get bonuses.
Offshoring. It's how can I relate this thing to HR?
Okay. Offshoring is when you're actually moving certain processes to other countries. Like, for example, we see it commonly in US because the US is a very costly country, but the workforce, the labor cost in India is very less. So many times they kind of outsource their business processes. And for example, the customer handling, the call centers. You remember there was a time when there was a boom of call centers in India.
So now I have one more important word in my vocabulary. Thank you, Pooja, for that. What about recruitment effectiveness?
Recruitment is a very common activity in all the companies. But are we really understanding if our recruitment activity is delivering the desired results? So you evaluate how the hiring processes deliver quality hires.
Yes, so this word recruitment effectiveness directly signals towards the alignment of the talent you are hiring for the with the business goals. Multiple interviews, multiple sessions, so your hiring manager is sitting most of the time for interviewing people rather than deploying his own work.
Because this is not the data that HR gets, this is the data that the department has. It's like a visual tool where you are linking HR things to business. Similar is the business strategy where you have something like a roadmap. Let's take a scenario. Rachel, she is the CEO of Technova, a random company. Now she calls her HR head and she has an ask. We are at a critical juncture. Aaron is the name of the HR head. Technova is preparing to expand into the European market within the next 2 years. This is a big step and we can't afford to go unprepared. I need HR to be at the center of the strategy.
Absolutely, Rajiv. Could you help me understand what you see as the key challenges on this front?
Okay, why is talking Rajiv? Should be Rachel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Here is what I'm worried about. First, our leadership pipeline is thin. We don't have enough managers ready to lead international teams. Second, we are struggling to attract and retain niche talent like AI, cybersecurity, and cloud engineers. Without them, expansion is risky. Third, our attrition rate is 18%, which is above industry average. That's eating away at engagement and productivity. Finally, recruitment and learning costs are climbing. I need cost efficiency without compromising quality.
Maybe Aaron remembers the correct name this time. That's a lot on the plate, but it's clear. Are you asking me to build a people strategy that aligns to the business needs?
Exactly. I want you to create an HR strategy map. Show me how HR will connect the dots. How leadership development, workforce planning, skill building, engagement, and performance management all link back to our goal of expanding into Europe. I want cause and effect logic, not just isolated initiatives.
Understood. So the assignment is to map HR objectives under learning and growth, processes, employee outcomes, and business impact, and demonstrate how they support expansion.
Precisely. And make it visual. I want the leadership team to see in one page how HR drives business growth. You will also need to suggest metrics so we can measure progress. Things like engagement scores, leadership readiness, attrition, recruitment effectiveness, and ROI on learning.
I'll get on it. Expect a draft strategy map by next week. Yes, it's a big challenge for HR because the CEO has asked to be in the center of the activity. Responsible for everything. So they need to hire the talent, niche talent as IT, AI, and they have only a week's time to prepare the first draft, including all the important metrics, return on investment, and many other important things. So it's a big challenge for them.
She wants a cause and effect diagram. So we can, in when we start building it, what we can do is we can start drawing that diagram. So we can create a flow diagram, and she also mentioned about metrics. Here he has already identified certain metrics that you can use to actually create. For that, we have to consider what could be the vision of the company, mission, and goals, and based on that, identify the cause and effect linkages.
This average is or annually?
Yeah, it's an average number of hours for new employees, so like an induction, you could say. Now, what is the average percentage of your employees receiving a regular performance appraisal?
All the employees are getting a regular performance appraisal.
What is the average percentage of workforce eligible for incentive pay in your company? Like we know most of the time salespeople get incentives. Are you only giving incentives to salespeople or even others?
Others as well.
What is the average percentage of your employees routinely working in teams?
So here we have the opportunity of mingling with people. Plus we can be a monk for some time. So 50%.
Yeah, it's your plan for tomorrow, how you're going to improve. So whatever figures you had earlier, now what is the new figure that you want in mind? At first it will look like, you're doing very well. But you look at the recommendations. Because in some places you might have increased it beyond industry average, something which is not required. In that case, you can comment. It will give you guidance for every category.
These are really helpful.
Yeah, and this game is actually designed on the basis of a study conducted already, where they found out bad performing companies, what is the metrics they have, and what is the metrics of good performing companies, and then what do they do. So based on that research, this game is designed. We will have more games playing here. Sure. Sometimes we'll have people games where we don't need any screen, and other times we will have these online games.
And my first impression was really, it's a good thing. This will make you realize the actual practical targets. Pragmatic, are you thinking pragmatic or not? So this is really helpful.
Okay. Improvement that you would like to suggest?
It is possible to add some graphical comparisons, then it will be good. In fact, I can directly connect it to the projects I am working on. It has helped me to think the same thing which I was stuck at some point, and now I can see, it was like this, I could have done this. So this is really helpful.